Hi, Kate. Can you hear? Yay.
Hey, what's going on? How you been? Good. How are you? Good. Thank you. How are you? Yeah, if you read that email, it said this is what's happening the first week.
I didn't see that. I just scrolled through.
So did I at first.
I was like,
So was
I
I.
called you, I texted you.
I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, let me read it real quick before I fucking jump out. And then
Yeah.
and then I read it and I was like, oh, it says first week, and these are all in the first week.
Something out yesterday. Did you see
Did
that?
they? No, I didn't see it.
It's just only you.
Oh, was it? They're probably like, you know what? Let's just fucking do it. I get this on. Yeah, let's just do it and keep him quiet. Nice. At 10-1, I should have had some margaritas too. What's going on? Anything y'all want to do? Any postures or body parts you want to mess with? Low back? Mm-hmm. Where? Where in the hips? On the outside? Okay. Little glute, little TFL, little IT band. We'll open up that stuff. Shoulder. That'll go with the chest a little bit. Yeah. We'll engage that upper back. That's the reason that I ask y'all to hold Cobra for 3 breaths for the first few that we do, right? Usually maybe like 3 or 4 or 5. I'm like, 3 seconds, hold Cobra. Because what we're trying to do, remember, balance isn't always equal, right? These muscles are stronger than what's going on back here, right? And what they're going to do is something like this, right? Now this comes from many different places. This comes from your bicep, this comes from your pec, comes from a lot of different things. But we got to get all this to open up, right? But we got to get all this to engage so it starts holding it back in place. But remember, just like this is too much, this is too much too, right? It's neutral. That's without geeking out too deep, all right? That's why I've been working on pushes with y'all over the past few weeks, right? I was talking about pushes and how we're pushing down, how we're engaging. Because a lot of times we collapse that upper back. And muscles, bless you, muscles have to be in their neutral position to work optimally, right? So in a plank, if you're here, right, too much, but like this, not enough. I got to be way up here, right? See, that's too much. That's not enough. I got to find that like sweet spot. Generally in the middle, right, is where you're going to try to feel these places. The body is going to be able to work in its range of motion both ways. So you got to find where that neutral position is. So we'll play with that a little bit today. Think of shoulders in line with the base of your neck. So if they're too low, right, they look like this. And if they're too high, they look like this. So where are you going to settle them at? Pretty much in the middle, right? And that'll be at the base of the neck. So take a couple breaths here. Sit up nice and tall. Yep. Feel that space. So you're rooting into the outsides of your feet and your sit bones. And then you're breathing up above the waist. And then on the exhale, the belly starts to draw in, the shutters start to close. Maybe we close our eyes. And we feel what it's like to hold this space. It's the same thing with in our low back and our lumbar spine. We don't just have to release the hip flexors and the muscles that are pulling the front of the pelvis forward, but we have to engage the muscles that are in the back of the hip, that extend the hip. And we'll talk about that when we get into those poses. Here, turn to the breath. Listen to yourself breathe, or slow down the beginning of the inhale and push a little more on the end of the exhale, or count out the breath, right? 2 or 3 seconds for the inhale, 2 or 3 seconds for the exhale, all the way up to Ujjayi breath. If you need to pause at any moment and settle into that, settle into it. And then when you're ready, you can build again. Notice if you're leaning forward, which tends to happen to us over time. Lean back that little bit again. And what you should feel is when those sit bones get heavy, you should feel the muscles that run up your spine starting to activate. Notice how your chin wants to fall forward. So slide the throat back. Now breathe into the ribs. Feel those side bodies get long. So from hips to armpit, that's what you need to get to bring the shoulders in line with the base of the neck. So breathe underneath the shoulder, not above. Next inhale, let the arms lift. Let the exhale bring the fingertips and the knuckle pads to root. Let the heels of the hands lightly touch. As the breath now goes to that space between our palms. And one time together to initiate our practice. Together the sound of Om. All together. Deep breath in. We softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. So think of shoulders coming up, not by using those upper traps like this. Think of it from down here. And as I breathe and expand, this is really the space I should be able to hold, right? What wants to happen, right? But this is really my space. So breathe this open. Yep, take a couple breaths here. Yep, and then when you're ready, spin around. We'll start off in child's pose. Now take that feeling, because we're going to use that simple breath that we just had there and that expansion of the rib cage throughout every posture. Here in child's pose, our toes are going to touch, but our knees are going to be nice and wide to the edges of our mat. Root your toenails down into the mat. Start to gently hug the knees into the midline a little bit to just bring some energy to the legs. And as you push your hands down and forward, root those sit bones down into your heels. Like there's anchors, you're going to hold them there. Now that's going to be below your waist. Now start to breathe above your waist. Feel the spine starting to peel. Feel the side bodies getting longer. We're decompressing that lumbar spine. Take a few breaths here. Now start to activate it a little more, like a little more of an active child's pose. So keep the forearms lifting up, keep the inner biceps lifting up. Now slide your forehead off the mat, like the back of your throat to the ceiling. Yeah. Now as you keep this, lift, soften the chest to the mat a little bit, and you'll get a peel up the arms. You get a peel through the chest. And when you're ready, look forward, walk the hands to the right side. Root that left sit bone into that left heel, and then breathe up that left side. But don't let the sit bone come up. Try to keep rooting it down. And as we breathe up that left side, your QL is low, like just above your pelvis, low on your back. Spinal erectors are the muscles that run up the spine. Lat is the like middle upper back is where you're going to tend to feel that. It attaches to your arm bone, your humerus. Feeling the chest open up here. Inhale, come back to center, soften down the middle. When you're ready, walk the hands to the left. Hey, how are you? Now feel that right side starting to peel open. Left side is engaging, right? It's shortening. That's what's pulling us over that way. The right side is peeling between the ribs. Those are your intercostal muscles. Feel the space between the ribs starting to expand open. Next inhale, come back to center, soften down the middle. Next inhale, come up, all fours, hands and knees. Hands an inch or two in front of your shoulders, knees an inch or two behind your hips. Low mountain. So belly's in, right? Shutters are closed. Solid here. What wants to happen? The belly wants to fall to the floor, right? Don't let it. Pull that belly to the spine. Keep hugging the hands into the midline. Make sure that you have a micro bend in your elbows. Don't hyperextend them. When you bend your elbows a little bit, squeeze your biceps. This is the muscle that turns off when your elbow hyperextends. So bring a little intention to squeezing that muscle. Sweep the inner heels out, hug the shins in, pull the belly to the spine. Yep, hold that space, one more breath. And then when you're ready, oscillating cat-cows. So inhale, you're going to take the hips up, back, and around. You could even look up. Exhale, you're going to bring them forward, under, and around. Yep, we'll go 5 to the right, or to whatever way you started, and 5 to the opposite side, okay? Nice little way to clear open lumbar spine right here. That's it, go slow here. If it feels like a little, if this is like your first time trying this, sometimes putting the head into it makes it a little confusing, work the hips. Then if you put the look up or the look down into it, go for it. But we're really using this right now to open up this lumbar vertebrae. And then after your 5 the one way, 5 side 2. Taking the spine through its multiple ranges of motion here. And then as we move, we're going to make some space. Right? It's good to take engagements through their muscle, through their engagement and their lengthening, right? As they shorten and lengthen, we get a better release, a better opening, better neutrality. When you're finished with your 5 both ways, come to a neutral position. So find that flat back, low mountain. Right? I tell you all the time, we're not waiting for the next pose. This is a pose. You should be hugging every bit of muscle into every bone. You should be starting to feel some of your muscles are quivering a little bit as you keep them under tension. That's what we're looking for. Take the knees back a few inches. Then reach the right leg straight back, ball of the foot on the floor. Micro bend in the knee. Now start to reach from the hip, down the back of the leg, out of the bottom of the heel, so closer to your midfoot. That'll keep the knee from hyperextending. Forward, we're breathing out of the crown of our head. We're even breathing side to side. Exhale, lower. Take the left leg back. Ball of the foot on the floor. Yep. Reach back. But find where that neutral joint is. Here is the knee. We talked about the elbows, so micro bend in the elbows. Yep, micro bend in the knee. And then reach back, forward, side to side. Exhale, lower that left knee. Walk the knees back in, all fours. Take a breath here. Step back to plank. Shoulders are on top of wrist crease, and we're reaching out of our heels. Go shorter. So bring your shoulders so they stack up here. Yeah. And then have your feet so you're reaching this way in your foot. This way. Not this way. So shorten up even more. Yeah. Yep. Now push back, downward dog. So we're talking about lining the shoulders. I do this with you all a lot. Shoulders go on top of the wrist crease, and we want to be in dorsiflexion. That means our toes are closer to our shins, like a high heel, right? I'm sorry. You want to be in dorsiflexion. Your toes are closer to your shin, unlike a high heel where it's the opposite of that, right? We want to feel that we're pulling our toes closer towards our shin. Now, when our feet go straight up and down is when we're going to go into chaturanga. All right, we'll do that in just a couple breaths. So first, downward dog, you could bend the knees. Every downward dog, you could bend the knees. But on this first one, bend the knees a little bit, soften the dog. Work the upper body. So hug the hands in, the forearms lift up, the inner biceps lift up, just like we did before when we were lower on the mat. Slide the throat back so your chin isn't falling towards the middle of the mat. Yep. Core, belly, and shudders. Start to fire that up. Now engage the legs, and then start to reach from the hips down the back of the legs and the bottom of the heels. If it feels good to keep the knees bent, keep the knees bent. Inhale, come forward to plank. Now, here's where you're still in dorsiflexion, right? See where we're at? Now, here's where we're going to go chaturanga. Boop. When you're ready, come forward. As the feet come forward, the elbows bend. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Does that make sense? So we're never going to this here. We're only ever going from this to this. We go here, we lose all the power. That's the high heel, right? We don't want that, right? We're going from here to here. When you're ready, lower the chest, push up through plank, back to downward dog. Like that's the shit that you leave and your low back feels a little uncomfortable. It's when these things get away from us. Now, the other thing in your plank and your chaturangas is we got to make sure that we're staying neutral, all right? So real quick, while we're in our downward dog, let's work it. Next time we come to plank, one more time, we're going to talk that through. So in downward dog, push the hands down and forward. Take your chest back towards your toenails. There's that big opener again. All right, now here we go. Inhale, come forward to plank. Now check it out in plank. Trina's drawn not just her belly button to her spine, she's lengthening her sit bones down a little bit. Otherwise, don't do this. Otherwise, her butt's going to try to fly to the sky. We don't want that. That's going to go right to her low back. Push back, downward dog. All right, now let's just try it together as a vinyasa. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. Nice, y'all. Yeah. Remember, little pieces go a long way in yoga, right? After your 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. If it felt better to keep the knees bent, keep the knees bent. If it feels better to straighten your legs, straighten your legs. We'll go one more time. Inhale, come forward to plank for this moment. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take those 3 nice breaths. Yep. After the 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. High on your fingertips of your blocks, wherever your space is. Keep pushing down and keep hugging in. So you're pulling your front heel back, you're dragging your back toes forward. Keep hugging shins into the midline. Work from the pelvic floor, right on up. So root chakra, take it all the way up the crown. Then, as you're holding that space, the heel reaches back heel. Front knee reaches forward, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, lower the back knee. As you come up, start dragging the back knee forward. Plug the arms in, take the arms up overhead. And as you're pulling that knee forward, you should start to feel the opener right here, front of that thigh. One of the culprits to that low back pain. So keep the belly button in. Now, keep the shutters closed. When you pull your shutters closed, you're going to feel like your spine gets tall. Now, maybe even curl back in that pose. Let the knee come forward to stack up on top of the ankle and keep it tracking that second toe. One more breath. Exhale your hands down, shift your hips back, baby Hanuman. runner stretch. So you can move, you can either just shift your hips back or you can move your left knee back a little bit if that's more comfortable for some of y'all. Now hug the big toe mound into the midline. It's going to try to do this, fall to the bricks. Don't let it. Hug it in so it points straight up to the sky. Your kneecap will point up to the sky. Now peel your spine out of your waist and then fold to the inside of that right thigh. But don't let your belly crunch. Don't let your chin go first. Let your chest go first. So think like opposing movements here. As the chest goes forward, the throat slides back. Yeah, because you know chin forward is our misalignment of life. We don't want to reinforce that energy, right? One more breath. As you look forward, bend into that lead knee. Lift the back knee. Downward dog. Nice, y'all. When you're ready, inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank, back to downward dog. Nice, y'all. Nice flow through that plank to chaturanga. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Remember, hands are just here to give us a connection, right? They're not meant to bear the weight. The weight is being bared in your legs. So keep pushing down. Like right now, you don't have to do this, but at this moment, if you took your hands off the blocks or the floor, you'd move nowhere, right? It's solid. That's how we want to put the weight into the pose. Now start to energize it by hugging in, and then express it by reaching back, by reaching forward, by breathing side to side. And as the exhale lowers the back knee, start dragging it forward as you come up. And then if you need to, pause, plug the arms in, and when you're ready, take them up overhead. But don't lose those shutters. It's going to try to do this. Boop, and shutters are going to try to blow open. You got to close those shutters. Then if you want to go even further, reach up through your thumbs, and you'll feel the backs of the arms here ignite. Go ahead and curl back into that pose. Curl back here under the shoulder blades, though, not in the lumbar spine. So keep that belly button pulling in. Yep, one more breath. Nice, y'all. Exhale the hands down. Shift the hips back. Runner stretch or baby Hanuman. This time, hug the left big toe mound into the midline. Keep pushing your heel down into the mat. It will make your knee micro bend. We want that. Remember, we talked about hyperextension kind of early today. So instead of pushing your kneecap to the mat, pull your kneecap to your waist. And then the joint will hold neutral instead of trying to hyperextend. Next inhale, look forward, bend into that lead knee, lift the back knee, downward dog. Work on your breath, not my voice. When you're ready, inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Nice, y'all. Let's build it. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Fire those legs. Pelvic floor. Pull it up. Belly. Shutters. Heart reaches out. Throat back. Gaze out front. Reach through the crown of the head. Inhale. Come up. Virabhadrasana 1. Crescent. Crescent will keep the low back safe, so keep the back heel sweeping out. See, when this back heel collapses this way, right, we're going to lose all this. So keep sweeping. Now we're neutral here instead of cramming in here. Then pull the belly up again. When you get to the shutters, you're going to get that lift. Now maybe curl back into that pose. Yep. One more breath. Exhale the hands down. Step back. Downward dog. Take a breath. When you're ready, reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Hips width apart. Start pushing down. Start pulling those chakras up. And when you're ready, inhale, come up, Virabhadrasana 1 Crescent. When you come up, like you got 20-pound weights in each hand, right? There's an intention of lifting the arms up overhead. Square that right hip forward that little bit. Yep. And then pull everything up again. And when you feel like you got all that lift, Maybe curl back into it. Let the back of the heart lift up through the front of the chest. Exhale, hands down, step back, downward dog. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, take a nice big reach. Exhale, hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. So we're in mountain pose, Tadasana, right? So feet are about hips width apart. Legs are charged up, right? Every muscle in my legs right now, super fiery. Hands are behind the back, interlace the fingers. Now breathe into the ribs first. And then when you expand them, now go ahead and take those shoulders back. Yep, maybe take those hands away from your back a little bit to intensify that stretch. But the rest of me here, mountain pose. Super solid. Like if I try to go up the trainer and move her, nowhere, right? Solid. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Take that right hand behind your back, left hand to your elbow. Push your head back into your forearm. Yep, you'll get that force feedback. Then draw those fingers up. I do this with y'all almost every class. Almost every class I teach, I do this opener here. This muscle right here, the lat, is what I go for in this, right? This is a big, powerful muscle. It's going to do things like this. It's going to do things like this, right? So it's one of those misalignments that can take over on us. But it's strong. It's a muscle we really need. It just is big, and it can take over, dominate. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up, swap. One of those restrictors to the arms going overhead, it comes up and attaches to your humerus. So as the arms have to go up, right? Remember, it's going to do this. So it has to be able to lengthen here. That's what we're trying to get, some more space. Otherwise, shit like this happens. And then we're in our low back, right? We don't want to be there. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Right hand to the outside of the left shin or calf. Left hand can be fingertips, block. Some of you are going to take it to your hip. Some of you are going to reach it up to the sky. Yeah, don't let me stop you. Wherever feels good with your pose. Inhale, come back to center. Pause down the middle, and then swap the hands. Left to the outside of right shin or calf. Right hand to fingertips, block, hip. Maybe open the right side of that chest. Maybe even start to look up, play with the balance. Inhale, come back to center. Next inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, big reach. Right hand grabs that left wrist, plug that leg up. I saw all these requests for chair pose. We'll go there next. Now, head and throat back, arms back. Yep, inhale, come up, swap the hands, swap the feet, plug that leg up. Take that hip to the right a little bit as you curl towards the left. Keep adducting like you're hugging in this way to keep the balance. And then head and throat back, arms back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, release. Sit back. Utkatasana, chair pose. So your butt has to go back first. If your knees bent first, we didn't get a chance to fire these pelvic stabilizers. So hip hinge is before knee flexion. We want that. That's part of human movement. Yep, keep sitting back deeper. Yep, like you're squeezing a beach ball between your forearms. Lift your arms up. Yep, now sit back deeper. Yeah. Pull that belly in, pull those shutters closed. Sit back deeper. Nice, y'all. Push down, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. See what the challenge is with those, in those lats and stuff, as those arms are going overhead, we need to have that space to be able to get those arms to go up. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. Move through your vinyasa 3 times. So just flow through a little bit now. Make sure you're not migrating and getting too long. Right? Then what will happen is as you go into chaturanga, your elbows are going to fall back instead of your forearms staying straight up and down. That's how you know you're a little too long. That's going to stress the shoulder out. That's why it's important for us to have that lined up, right? Measured out where it needs to be. Then after your 3, exhale, lower your knees, sit back on your heels, take a little break, child's pose, grab a drink, wipe your face, whatever feels good. Check in a little bit. And this is what I was talking about while you're hanging out. So if I'm too long, right, where I'm here, when I go to my chaturanga and I bend my elbow, see how my forearms are falling down? I'm not going to stress my shoulder. This is pretty bad. See how they fall back this way? What that does is as my bicep engages, because it's my elbow's bending, so this muscle's engaging, the way your bicep attaches in the back into your scap, it does this. It'll do this to your scapula and pull it up this way. So if you keep doing this action, it's going to do this to you. Does this look like something we want to reinforce? Remember we said we're trying to get out of this shit. We're trying to get way back here, right? So if you ever have to, you come to plank like we did earlier. Here's shoulders on top of wrist crease. I'm in dorsiflexion. So when I come forward, I have my forearm, see belly, sit bones down. We talked about that earlier. Then when I bend my elbow, see how my forearms are straight up and down? My shoulders are back as compared to this that wants to happen. Come on, let's try it. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down, all fours. Take a couple breaths. Now, I've made the comment once before. I know in my class, we do a lot of chaturangas, okay? So we want to make sure that we are doing these as optimal as possible, right? So we get a good result. Otherwise, we're just unwinding ourselves a dozen times, right? We don't want that. All right, step back to plank. Measure it up for yourself. Shoulders on top of wrist crease and reach out of your heels. Yep. Then when you're ready, push back to downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back. Come forward, right knee to left elbow, kick the leg out to the side. Outside of the foot to the floor. Now, push back towards downward dog. So take your hips back to like where the ceiling and the wall is at the back of the room. Now, drag your right leg back to the right. And there's going to be that TFL and IT band that we're peeling open. Inhale, unwind, reach that right leg back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Exhale, lower it down. Reach your left leg straight back. Come forward, left knee to right elbow. Kick the leg out to the side. Outside of the foot to the floor. Now push back like you're pushing a downward dog. Yep. And now you're starting to feel the outside of that leg. Now drag the leg back to the left. Yep. Inhale, unwind. Reach that left leg back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Nice, y'all. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga. Lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Spin the back heel. Come up extended side angle. Utthita Parsvakonasana. So bent arm to bent knee. You're on the balance beam, so that means your front heel's in line with your back arch. Back toes are just slightly turned forward. That'll take the inner thigh back. Plug the arm in if it's not there. Sweep that right along your cheek. Yep. If you want to go right hand down to the block or the floor, go for it. But don't just side crescent into that right side. Hinge deeper at the side of the hip there. Yes. Then belly comes in, top of the ribs go back, bottom of the ribs come forward. Push into that front heel. Inhale, come up. Warrior 2. Take the hands behind the back, interlace those fingers, and bow to the inside of that right thigh, humble warrior. Look to the front left corner of your mat, so the spine is long here. Yep. Now maybe start to reach the arms up overhead. One more breath. Release the hands down to the floor. Spin the back heel up, downward dog. Nice, y'all. Take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Spin the back heel, come up extended side angle, side 2. draw this back. Yep, yep. Plug that arm in, sweep the bicep up along the cheek. Make sure that right knee isn't hyperextending. Little micro bend. Yep, and fire it up. If you want to go left hand down to the block or the floor, go for it. Excuse me. Then we rotate. Belly in, top of the ribs back, bottom of the ribs forward. Maybe we start to like look up that bicep that little bit. Yep. Push into your front foot. Inhale, come up tall, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. When the hands go behind the back, if the left pinky was under, right pinky this time, or the uncomfortable way. Bow to the inside of that left thigh. Remember, fill the ribs up first, then take the shoulders back. So we get that peel off the sternum, off your breastplate, the center of your chest, and it goes through those pecs, the chest muscles. It goes through the front of those shoulders. It works up those arms as maybe you start to reach them up overhead. One more breath. Control it as you exhale the hands down to the floor. Spin the back heel up, downward dog. Nice, y'all. Roll to the outside of the right foot, stack the left foot on top or in front, come into side plank. We're firing up right now, right? It's getting fire. We're linking poses. We're moving a little bit quicker. Stay with your breath. If you want to go Vashisthasana, you can hug your left knee to your chest, 2 fingers between the toes, kick your leg towards the wall with the window and the door, maybe take it up towards the sky. Or you can hold your knee like this. Release the leg if it's there. Inhale, come back to plank. Push back, downward dog, take a breath. Roll to the outside of the left foot, stack the right foot on top or in front. Right? This is one of those moments, it's hard. Let it be hard. Just be in the moment right now. Push out of your big toe mounds to fire those legs up. Pull it into the hips. When you turn the bicep, it's the root into the upper back. Then maybe the right knee hugs to the chest, the 2 fingers between the toes. Kick to the brick wall first. Then start to take it up towards the sky. Release the leg if it's there. Inhale, come back to plank. Push back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Set it up. Shoulders on top of wrist crease. You're reaching out of your heels. You're pushing down. As you push down, you're feeling your body lift up from the mat. We want that. Find the sweet spot. We don't want to be round in our upper back, but we don't want to be collapsed. Knees count. Make sure you're not too long, right? Then we'll be working harder than we need to. Bellies to spine, shutters are closed. Keep breathing. Meant to be hard, right? This is a challenge. Keep those hips up. Don't let them sag. Keep breathing here. We're going to go about 10 more seconds. I don't know how long that is, but it feels right.
No, you've got 10 more now.
10, okay, 10 more now. That feels even righter.
1 minute.
And slowly lower to your bellies. Nice, y'all. I was going with the 50. It's a thing this week, I guess. Well, for me it is. I turned 50 on Saturday. Oh, I know. Part of me is like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Where'd this go? What was it? On October 5th? Happy birthday. I'll take the 30. You want the 50? No. I'm teasing. I'm happy with the 50. I'm just, you know.
Don't throw away those years. Earn 'em.
All right, bend, take your right hand underneath your chest, bend your left knee, reach back, grab your ankle, your foot, or your strap. We'll get the quad stretch.
I turned 40 this year.
What?
I said I turned 40 this year.
You do? Yeah, big numbers coming up. Fun numbers, you know.
I'm turning 60, and 50 is the best cake. You're in for a treat.
Hey, listen, I try to live my life like, if I looked back right now, I'd be like, well, I got it in. Man, like, I got it in. I'm pretty, like, happy, and that's how I'm going to keep trying to go. It's okay. It's fine. Now hug those knees in, belly to spine, pubic bone to the mat. Yep, now draw the heel towards that sit bone. And then watch the boing as you release. We'll swap side 2. Yep, then hug the knees in, belly to spine, pubic bone to the mat. You already feel a little bit of a stretch. Then when you draw the heel to the sit bone, it gets even better. Watch the boing as you release. Roll to your right side, bend your knees and bring them in front of you. Take your left hand. You're going to go, yeah, you're like you're watching TV on the floor. You could take your hand here, or you could put the block right down and then put your head on the block if that's comfortable. Now you're going to take your left hand, go to the inside of your left knee, but the outside of your left foot. You're going to pull a little bit. Then you're going to kick the leg towards the wall with the window and the door. Then you're going to start to take the leg up towards the sky. Keep sweeping the right heel down into the mat. Now micro bend in the knee. Keep the out seam of the thigh working forward. Right? Does that make sense? So, can I demo on you? It would be like if I came up to you and I took the outside of your thigh and I drew it forward away from your ribs, right? You feel that? Now keep straightening that. Yep. See, then when we get this to go this way, we're going to go, this is below the waist. So now we got to breathe above the waist. Yep. And now we start to peel both sides. I mean, easier said than done? Shit, yeah, easier with my hands here. We're persuading it. Of course it is. But you want to feel little bits and pieces. Bend the knee lower down. Roll back to center. Swap side two. Thank you. It's just easier to demo when I teach you. Right hand inside of the right knee, but the outside of the foot. Then kick to the bricks. Then start to open up towards the sky. And sweep the left heel down into the mat. Then the out seam goes forward. I can demo on you, right, Soch? So we're going this way. You feel this? Changes it, right? Then this is below the waist. So what do we got to do above? And breathe all that up. Yep. One more breath. Then bend the knee. Come back to center. Place the hands, middle of the chest. Curl the toes. Take those shoulders back. Pull that belly in. Yes. When you're ready, push up the chaturanga. Take a full round of breath. Yeah, shit's hard, no doubt. Knees count. Push up the plank. Take another round of breath. Yes, there's that push. Push back to downward dog. Pushes seem real easy. But when we let some of the other muscles compensate, one of the places that what happens is the hips drop and that low back start to get a little So we want to make sure we're pushing down, right? Getting these muscles to integrate. Get a bunch of friends in the game and then everything works a whole lot better, right? Work through one vinyasa. Exhale, lower your knees, sit back on your heels. Okay, so we're going to play with a lunge to an airplane or Ekapada Kunyasana 2. Okay, so you could play with either or. The idea is that we're going to set up the lunge, right? And then we can be here, which would be the airplane. See which way I am with my hands? I'm this way. Supination. See the shoulder rolling back? What happens if I go this way? We're back to this shit we talked about we do not want, right? So we want to go this way in the airplane. Now, you can stay here. This would be an awesome place to stay. If you're going to work the arm balance, the arm is going to go underneath, so the hand goes to the outside of the foot. When I place both my hands down, they're exactly how they would be if I was in downward dog, right? Same hand placement. Then I'm going to take my foot to the outside of my hand. I'm going to bend both elbows. This is what I always see. This one locked out. You got to bend this one, right? Like chaturanga. Then I'm going to turn my toes down. But really what I'm trying to do is turn the inner thigh down. Now, we just geeked on it before with external rotation. This is going to be internal rotation. Right? So when I turn the toes down, it initiates the inner thigh. But see this back hip, this leg, see this hip come up? See how it's down here? I'm never going to get the leg up. As soon as I go this way, now this back hip came up, I can hug into the midline, and then I can lift the leg up this way. So I hug in first, right? In before out. So when I hug in, I pull all that energy in. Then I reach my legs out. Does that make sense? Now, if you want to work the arm balance, awesome. If you're working airplane, it's the same awesome, right? Whatever you want to play with. Come on, let's give it a try. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down. All fours. Take a breath. Step back to plank. Measure it up. Then downward dog. Now pedal, swivel, wiggle a little bit. Just start to get the engine running again. Then come to neutral. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. You can inhale the arms up, come to airplane, or you could take the right hand underneath your leg, bring it to the outside of your foot. Now move your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Now turn those right toes down, bring the inner thigh in. Yeah, Elise, keep doing that. Feel the left hip come up, keep bending your elbows. As you turn the thigh down, yes, the back hip's gonna come up. Now scissor in, then as you float, kick the back leg back to like where the walls are meeting, and the front leg's going to like the corner. One more breath. Maybe kick back to chaturanga at Ekapada Kunyasana 2. If you're at airplane, exhale the hands down. Step back, downward dog. Take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. You can inhale, come up, airplane. Remember, take those shoulders back, turn those palms to the sky. Or left hand goes underneath the leg to the outside of the foot. Then the foot to the outside of the hand. Then bend both elbows. Turn that left thigh down, or toes first, then scissor in, then express the legs out. Keep breathing. One more breath. Exhale the hands down, or kick back chaturanga, and then we'll meet back in downward dog. Nice, y'all.
That side's harder.
One side will always be harder, right? We look symmetrical, but we are not. One side does stability, and one side does mobility. So one side will always be easier, whether it's muscle energy or organic. And then from downward dog, reach the right leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. Like if you ride a skateboard, all right, it's really throwing, but this is easier to kind of figure out. My one foot would always stay on the deck, right? This is going to be the stability, right? This one always does this. This is the mobility, right? In human movement, it's throwing. So your primal movements are standing, walking, running, and throwing. So it's like you'd have to take something. This foot plants, right? This one is the mobile one. So this is always stability. That's why if I stood on this leg, it's way easier for me to get balance on my left leg, because I'm righty, than it is for me to go on this side. A little more challenging. If you were lefty, your right leg would be your stability, and your left would be your mobility. When you're ready, pull the pelvic floor up, belly. I know a lot of you like the fold. Go for the fold. If you want to stay up in the prep, stay up in the prep. It's totally cool. If you want to go to the fold, go to the fold. But fold and collapse, two different meanings, right? Fold has control to it. Collapse does not. Yeah, always nice pigeons, y'all. Keep them energized, though. Don't let the hips or the back of the thighs collapse to the floor. Keep hugging in. So you're pulling your front knee back, and you're dragging that back knee forward. And that's pulling it into the hips. Your junk is like floating up off the yoga mat right now. That's the space that you're holding. You want to hit a quad stretch in the Ekapada Kunyasana? So inhale, come up, bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand. Grab your ankle, your foot, or your strap. There's the quad stretch. We did some chest, we did some back bending things today, so this might be accessible for some of you. You're going to try to take your your foot and slide it up your arm so that it goes into the crease of your elbow. Then you're going to bring your fingers to the sky. Then your right arm is going to come up and over. You got to plug the shoulder back. That's where you're going to get the distance from, by plugging back this way. Then maybe let the hands clasp. Or your strap would be like this. Yep. Now square that left hip forward. Go slow. Now bring the right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. Now curl back. Think of the back bend part of it now. Back of the heart, front of the chest. You feel where it's going now? Watch the buoying as you release. Nice, y'all. Place the hands down. That's awesome. Lift the hips, downward dog. Remember, when you're like on your edge and you're challenging these things, super slow. Think of like microns of space, right? We're not going to get like inches. They're going to be challenging. Think of the small pieces. Reach the left leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. So take that left knee nice and wide, left edge of the mat. And then push down and hug in and pull all that power up. Pelvic floor, pull it up. Pull that belly button in. Pull those shutters closed. Like I always say, like talk about chakras more in a physical sense, right? Pull the pelvic floor up, root chakra, right? Pull your belly and put heart back, like heart chakra. That's where I'm kind of working with y'all. If you want to go for the fold, go for it. But remember, don't collapse. Pigeon is so fiery. It kind of seems like the hangout pose, right, at the 3/4 mark, but it's not. It's full on. It's just close to the floor, right? But you want to think the other way, not that we're collapsing down, but since we're close to the floor, we can engage more, right? We could use the floor to our advantage. That stronger foundation, then we can build from there. A couple more breaths as you open up the back of the hip and down the back of the leg. And then inhale, come up. Bend your right knee, reach back with your right hand. Grab your ankle, your foot, or your strap. There's the quad stretch. Then if you're going Ekapada Kundinyasana, what am I talking about, Trina? Yeah. Yeah. Bring the fingers to the sky, then reach back. Yeah. Yeah. Ekapada Rajaka Patanika, right? Watch the buoying as you release. Inhale, come back to center. Yep, unwind that left leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet, and then lower it down.
I had 3 margaritas last night. My brain isn't working.
Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up. That's why you need some weed to balance it all out. And then exhale, hands in front.
My husband made a picture. I had to finish it.
Hey, listen, I'm okay. I'm good with it. All right, grab your mats, find a spot on the wall. We'll go upside down. Hey, listen, you do that work during the day and you want to get into a picture of margaritas? Great. You don't do that work throughout the day? I don't know. That's a challenge there, but. All right, so if you're at home and you don't have the mat, the wall to kick up on, you can always lay on your back, right? Just take your hands behind, take your knees bent, and then as you reach your heel to the sky, take your hands behind your thigh, and then you could take a bunch of breaths here, and then you could swap into side 2. If you are at home or in the studio, it's not your day to invert. You're always welcome to go legs up the wall. Some of you will invert in the middle of the floor. If that's where you feel good inverting, go for it. If you want to work to the wall, work to the wall. There's definitely a spot in the back there. We can get another mat. I'm going to talk everyone through downward dog and L pose. If you want to work your handstands, your headstands, your tripods, your pinches, work on your own. Trina's going to be walking around, so she'll give you a hand right away. Once I get everybody up, then I'll start walking around. And grab me if you need to. Okay? So if you're going to stick with me, all fours, hands and knees, feet are touching the wall. We're in that all fours like we were earlier, that low mountain. If you're going to work on your own, whenever you're ready. Excuse me. When you're ready, thank you. Lift the knees and the hips, come to a short downward dog. Check in. If you feel good, step one foot up the wall. Still feel good, step the second foot up the wall. With your knees bent, you'll be in downward dog inverted. With your legs straight, you'll be in L pose. Play where what feels good to you. Then you stay as long as it feels good to stay up, and then you come down. Maybe you rest a little bit. Maybe you give it another try. When you pike, let your butt go towards the wall more. Yeah, it's not going to be stacked. Yeah. It's going to kind of move into like a hip hinge, which if I did a hip hinge means my hips are going to go behind my heels. Forward fold, I'm going to stack them. But those are two different things, right? Human movement is the hips are going to go back, right? So same thing in your pike. Your butt will go to the bricks just a little bit, like, and that'll balance out so that then you can bring your legs up. Okay. Yeah. Or so is the plan. Yeah. You got it. Just keep breathing, right, and play with it little by little. Yeah, see, because when you're stacked, it's really hard to get that to happen. Does that kind of make sense? A little bit? Yeah. Which is yoga's challenge, right? What's yoga asking from you right now? To try to find alignment when you're ass overhead, right? You are literally upside down. Things are totally flipped upside down. And yoga's saying, okay, can you keep your breath calm? Can you hold a foundation? Can you engage? And can you express? Right? That's the challenge of it. That's just the game, right? Keep hugging your elbows in. Yeah, if they splay out, you're going to get weaker. If you hug in, you're going to keep getting stronger. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Again, upside down, a little more challenging, but. Sure. So go another minute or so. If you're inverted out, you can always lay on your back. If you're going to kick it again, go for it. Nice, y'all. When you kick up, don't think legs up, think hips up. Right? That's where all the weight's going to be. Here's the prime movers, right? Here's the big muscles in our body. This is what we want to think, not this, right? There ain't enough weight to think about this. Think about the weight up here. That's what's going to come up to the sky. Does that make sense? All right, let's meet on our backs. We'll do two. I'll talk you into bridge first, then wheel. We've done... What's wrong? Okay, on your bellies, bow pose. I mean, where you want to go? I got something for everybody. Now, come on, we'll do bridge. All right, so usually Bo's the one I get the right? Bridge is usually like, oh, okay. All right, so let's set it up. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Your feet are hips width apart, and they're like train tracks. So we don't want the heels to spin in, is gonna be the misalignment. Now, charge your legs up. Back bends, 90% legs, 10% back bend. It's all about the foundation. So how do you charge your legs up? Well, first you push your heels down into the floor, then you sweep your inner heels out. That's how you hit glute. Then you hug your shins in. That's how you hit adductors, the insides of your thighs. Then you pull your heels to your butt. That's how you get the hamstrings to engage. Belly's in, shutters are closed, head and shoulders back, slowly lift the hips. Come to bridge. I tell you all the time, you're strong. Be careful you don't overlift your hips here. You want to feel that the tops of the thighs are still going back, right, or like in and down. Otherwise, we're going to go in external rotation. We're going to be pushing the front of those thighs forward, and that's unwinding a lot of stuff that we worked on today to try to peel open. Then as the shoulders go under a little deeper, maybe you interlace your hands behind your back. We made that shape today, so that might feel comfortable for some of you. Then we let the knees reach forward. We let the upper palate of the mouth reach back so the throat's open. One more breath. If the hands are clasped, release. Then take the feet wide, let the knees touch. One hand on your heart, one hand on your low belly. So check this out. Take this, right? Put this back there, but bring it really low, like so there's not much sticking out. Go even lower.
The block?
Yeah, okay. Like deep. Yeah. Now, when you squeeze, go even a little more. You okay if I put the block there? Okay, in more. Now, right there.
Okay.
You feel this?
Yeah.
That's internal rotation,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So now try to squeeze the block out the, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You feel the control there?
Yeah, it's different.
So we're just talking about the block, okay? And we're just geeking out as teachers and we're just getting a little bit deeper, but let's share it, right? So what should happen here is, this is gonna be, I'm looking for my thighs to go in. If I squeeze the block like this, I'm just doing adduction. I'm just hugging in this way. And what I'm trying to do is this, internal rotation. So if you take your block, I have the ball downstairs. I'll try to bring the ball up next time, and you could try the balls a little easier. But you take the block, put it back further this way. So now, as I start to squeeze, see my thighs turning in? As I squeeze the block out the back. That's the action I want. That's the internal rotation. But it's hard to get it like this because adduction just dominates the energy, right? As compared to this, now your thighs can roll into the front of the block and you can get that internal rotation. So if that helps you, give it a try. If you do it without the block, awesome, right? So here we go. Inhale, open the knees, reset the feet. Make sense? Yeah. This time I'll talk first, get you up into a bridge, and then we'll go in a wheel, all right? So charge the legs up. Core, slowly lift the hips. Now there's that, think of that action. Got to spring those inner, so you could even sweep the heels out, right? You could manipulate it by bringing the knees closer together, right? As long as you can control it, manipulate it. Then if you want to go wheel, place the hands wide. When you turn your hands out, elbows are going to come in, plug those shoulders back, and then push down to come up. If you're in wheel, maybe pump your heart towards the wall that you're looking at. And as you do that, you're going to be able to slide those shoulders even deeper. Yep. One more breath. Stay engaged as you lower down. Take the feet wide. Let the knees touch. If your right hand was on your heart, left hand on your heart, opposite hand on your belly. Inhale, open the knees, windshield wiper side to side. Come to neutral, hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a little hug, make a couple small circles on your low back, should feel nice. When you balance both sides, come to neutral, rock yourself up to a seated position. Bend your right leg, bring your left leg over top. Reach down to your right sit bone, pull it back and out, then that left one. So the left one roots down into the mat. Push the big toe mound down, take your left hand behind you. Right bent elbow goes just to the top of the knee. We want to twist. See, this is my up knee. I want to twist to the up knee side as compared to this way. This is the down knee, right? This is the up one. I want to turn this way. Now keep pushing that big toe mound down on that left foot. Keep rooting down into the sit bones, but breathing up above the waist. Yep, and then take that twist. We're in the outside of the hip one more time here. This is that fascial line that I talked about throwing. This is where we're working. This is that functional line. Now, some of you we hit Ekapada Kunyanyasana 2 before. Some of you are going to want to hit Ekapada Kunyanyasana 1. So what you do is from the twist, you come out just a little bit. You place your hands down like downward dog. You're going to lift the hips up. The bottom leg this time is going to come forward, and the top leg is going to go back. Scoot forward and back if your partner next to you, you're both going to work the pose. Just move forward or back a little bit. Yeah. And then inhale, unwind. Swap the legs or break dance, move into side 2. For those of us that are a little bit tighter in the back of the hip, this arm balance is a little challenging to get to, right? No doubt. But that's the game, all right? Sit up nice and tall. Right hand behind, left hand to the knee. Sit up tall, twist to the up knee. Yep. If you have any neck issues on twist, just let your head stay in line with your chest. If you want to peek over the shoulder, you can start to peek over that right shoulder, or whatever your back shoulder is. Yep. Then if you're going to stay here in the twist. If you're going to unwind that little bit, the hands go down. See the outside of my leg, I got a wedge on the back of my arm. Okay? Then I'm going to lift up. Bottom leg's going to go forward. Top of the leg's going to go back. And then, there's different things we can link. We did some of that last week or the week before. Probably something I'll put in the workshop on 2 weeks, October 11th. After my Friday class, we're going to do the arm balance inversion workshop. I'll link some stuff up for you all then. All right, inhale, unwind, take the legs out straight. Reach back, grab the sit bone, pull it back and out. See how this foot, my toes are turning out? But this one I adjusted, and my kneecap and my toes are pointing straight up to the sky. That's what we want. Then grab that other side, pull back. Yep. Now just take your hands behind you and sit up nice and tall. Yep. And if you want to challenge it, take the hands up. And if you want to keep going, take the arms up overhead. But keep working those legs. Yep. Pull it up through the core. Yep. One more breath. Maybe look up. Exhale, hands in front. Lay back. Reach your legs out. Take your arms up overhead. Take a big stretch here. Spread your fingers. Spread your toes. Hug your knees to your chest. And with your knees bent, lower your feet to the floor. Inhale your right knee to your chest. Take your left hand to the outside of your foot, the pinky toe side. Yep. Now, straighten the leg straight up to the sky. Okay, now you're in the back of the leg. We're going to get in the outside of the hip again. So keep your right hip down. Just cross your leg over the midline. So take it to the left. But don't let the right hip come up. And we should be on the outside of the hip again. If you're not like a TFL IT band type person, you tend to feel this stuff from your knee to your ankle bone. Strap? Yeah. Thank you. Welcome. One more breath. Bend the knee, come back to center, release the foot. Knee bent, foot to the floor. Left knee to your chest. Right hand to that pinky toe side. When you pull on your foot, kick your foot into your hand. There's going to be an engagement. Then the heel goes to the sky. Then keeping that left hip down, take the leg to the right. You just have to go past the midline, and there it's on, right there. Bend the knee, come back to center, release the leg. Take both legs out, reach the arms up overhead. Take that big stretch. Again, spreading the fingers, spreading the toes, right? Feeling all that decompression. And then as the knees hug to the chest, take the knees wide. Happy baby. Knees are wider than your shoulders. Sacrum is flat. So you'll feel if you're a little too far, your butt's trying to fly to the sky. We don't want that. Bring your butt back down so that sacrum roots. Then take those knees as wide as you can, and then start to draw your knees towards your ears. And then there's an opener in the back of the hip. There's an opener in the insides of the thighs. If you reach one leg out or both legs, you're in the back of the legs again. It's wherever you want to play. When you're ready, inhale the knees to center. Exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. I'm going to talk everyone through laying flat, but you're more than welcome to do a variation if it feels good. Here as we lay back, let the legs stretch out. The feet gently roll open. Let the arms come along the sides. The shoulders settle back as the open palm turns to the sky. Let your head rest back. Maybe the eyes close. The tongue softens from the roof of the mouth as the body gets heavy. The mind softens as it turns back to the breath. The heart opens as it gets ready to move the practice from the mat to the yoga of life. The yoga of life, just like yoga on the mat, it's a practice. We learn something. We apply it. We make change. Something better for ourselves, for each other. Yoga on the mat shows us, gives us a path, an outline. Because whether it's here or in the steps of our day, when things aren't working right, we take a breath. We reset a foundation, we engage and we express. If we need to do that again, we do it again. Until we bring out the best that we can be in that moment. And as humans, we have emotions and feelings. Sometimes it takes a few breaths. But no matter where it is, the practice is what we reach for. To continue to try. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath. As the breath washes over the body, feel it from your toes to your fingers, to the crown of your head, to your heart, as we reawaken that better version of ourselves. As the fingers and the toes wiggle, let the arms and the legs stretch or reach or move in a way that feels good to you. Taking your time, moving slowly. As the fingers and the toes wiggle, let the arms and the legs stretch or reach or move in a way that feels good to you. Taking your time, moving slowly. When you're ready, you can hug your knees to your chest and just roll to the right side. Take a breath or two here. Giving yourself that chance to reacclimate. When you're ready, you can push your hands down. We'll meet in a seated position with our eyes closed and our hands in front of our hearts. One more time to seal in our practice, our time together with our Kula, our yoga family. Together, the sound of Om. All together, deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all of that hard work, that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Thanks, crew. Good to see everyone. Trina, thank you for your help. So I won't see you all next week. Trina will be here with you, so you'll be in great hands. You want to talk about your class?
Yeah, there's a bunch of new classes starting this week. I'm be teaching Tuesday at noon. Melissa?
8 a.m. Wednesday.
So 12 noon on Tuesday, 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Thanks, crew. Next week I will be here. I'm not totally positive on Friday, but I'll be here Tuesday, Thursday. Friday I haven't decided yet if I'm not here. Again, Trina will be here. You'll be in good hands. And then I'll see y'all the following week. Thanks, y'all. Home crew, you know if you need me, hit me up. You're welcome. Thanks, y'all.
Sorry, when did you say the inversion workshop is?
October 11th. It's a Friday. Yep. It's at 6:30 to 8.